So I was just hanging out one day when I thought to myself, you know, there's not enough rage bait in the Splatoon community. Like, you go to the Genshin Impact community and you see people having full novel-length arguments about how good a certain character is, but then you go to the Splatoon community and it's full of just normal discussions by a bunch of well-behaved people. Absolutely disgusting. So I decided, let's fix that, and ask my subscribers to send me their most rage-bait Splatoon hot takes. So, let's get started. Clash Blaster takes skill. I totally agree with this, which might sound weird at first because Clash Blaster is known among the more casual player base for being super hard to deal with and just really annoying in general. So, let me explain. The thing with Clash Blaster is that it can be really annoying if you don't know how to deal with it, but once you do know how to deal with it, you realize that it's actually one of the worst weapons in the entire game. Seriously, this weapon is complete garbage. It has no pain output, and a kill time that ranges from decent at best to as slow as a dynamo vertical flick. Like, most weapons can just kill it before it kills them. Its kits are fine, but they don't really do enough to make up for its glaring weaknesses, so there's literally no reason to pick this over any of the other blasters in the game, especially when there are just so many better options that you could have chosen. Seriously, if you bring Clash Blaster to any serious competitive event, you will get laughed at and you will lose the game. I cannot stress this enough. If you are up against people that actually know what they're doing, do not ever play Clash Blaster unless you're doing it specifically to troll people. So I agree. If you're up against people that actually know what they're doing and not just a bunch of 7-year-olds drooling on their switches, then Clash Blaster absolutely takes skill to use, because you're going out of your way to make a weapon that's usually complete garbage actually work. Alterna is the weakest campaign in the series. The islands are fun to explore, but the levels are so forgettable. That's a really interesting take because, at least for me, playing through Splatoon 3's Hero Mode was some of the most fun I've ever had with the series. Sure, the levels weren't as innovative as Octo expansions or side orders, but that doesn't automatically make them bad. Quite the opposite. In fact, I actually think the levels in Alterna are some of the best in the entire series. Because, while yes, there are certainly a lot of forgettable levels, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that every level is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece of game design, they're nowhere near as forgettable as, say, Splatoon 2's Hero Mode. I can barely remember any of the levels from Splatoon 2's Hero Mode, whereas I can remember so many of the levels from Splatoon 3's Hero Mode. That's another thing, because this comment implies that Splatoon 2's Hero Mode is better than Splatoon 3's, which is... I mean, I kind of understand where you're coming from, but then again, at the same time, no, I don't. That's quite frankly an insane claim to make. However, I realize that other people might disagree with me on that, and maybe there are a lot of people out there who think Splatoon 2's Hero Mode is better than Splatoon 3's. So out of curiosity, I ran a poll on my community tab asking my subscribers which Hero Mode they thought was more memorable between Splatoon 2's and Splatoon 3's, because again, maybe I'm actually in the minority here, and more people prefer Splatoon 2's Hero Mode to Splatoon 3's. And yep, that is exactly what I thought would happen. And don't get me wrong, there are definitely some problems that I have with Splatoon 3's Hero Mode, but at the same time, I have even more problems with Splatoon 2's Hero Mode. And don't get me wrong, like I said, Splatoon 3's Hero Mode definitely has some forgettable levels. I'm not denying that. There's definitely some mid in there, but there are definitely more memorable levels than there are forgettable levels. And a lot of the memorable levels, at least in my opinion, are some of the most memorable levels in the entire series. Like, there's the Zipcaster levels, which genuinely were some of the most fun I've ever had playing Splatoon. You got the level where you had to paint the giant Moai head that everyone thought was the funniest shit ever. There's the godforsaken ride rail target level that took me over an hour to beat. There's the level where you draw the giant small fry. There's the Pac-Man level where you had to get all the power eggs while avoiding the flutters. I can go on, but you get the point. And yes, while the story of Splatoon 3's Hero Mode could have been better, the story of Splatoon 2's Hero Mode basically felt like an afterthought. So yeah, at least in my opinion, while Splatoon 3's Hero Mode was far from perfect, it's nowhere near the worst in the series. And on the topic of Splatoon 2's Hero Mode, Splatoon 2's Hero Mode is way better than Splatoon 1. Nostalgia just makes people like Splatoon 1's more. I don't know, I'm kind of torn on this, because yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I like about Splatoon 2's Hero Mode, but there's also a lot of stuff that I don't like about it, and there is more stuff that I don't like about it than there is stuff that I like about it. So overall, it's just in a really weird spot. My main issue with Splatoon 2's Hero Mode, and this is actually a good summary of like all the issues that I have with it, is that they completely butchered the final boss fight with DJ Octavio. Like, Splatoon 1 Octavio was actually a fairly challenging boss fight, whereas Splatoon 2 Octavio is a complete joke. I have no idea what happened there. But there are also things that I liked about Splatoon 2's Hero Mode. You know, Spicy Calamari Incantation is a pretty good song. Also, the hero weapons are pretty cool, and it was fun having all the different levels built around them. Unlocking them wasn't, because if you wanted a hero weapon, you had to beat every single level with it, and you had to do that 10 times if you wanted all of them. And that's not even mentioning the fact that some levels are almost impossible to clear with certain weapons. And also, that just felt like a really cheap way to artificially extend gameplay, but it is what it is. Overall, I still think Splatoon 1's Hero Mode is better, but I do think that Splatoon 2's Hero Mode is a bit overhated at times. I know I just went on a rant about how much I dislike Splatoon 2's Hero Mode, but I do think it's overhated. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely a lot of stuff to criticize about it, but there's still a lot of fun to be had with it. Splatoon 4 should not have the Squid Sisters return. Also, fully customizable kits, please. Yes, I 100% agree with this. I think that Splatoon 2's Hero Mode was the perfect place to end the Squid Sisters story, and them coming back in Splatoon 3's Hero Mode was just a huge waste in my opinion. Because, realistically, there's not much else that you can do with the Squid Sisters is that of just feeling boring. And this has been a problem with Splatoon in general, where Nintendo tends to focus a lot more on returning characters rather than developing the new characters. Case in point, Deep Cut, literally getting sidelined in their debut game. Nintendo, please stop sidelining your newer characters to develop your older characters. Like, the older characters already have enough character development. But yeah, if Splatoon 4 comes out and it's just new Squid Beak Splatoon shenanigans, again, I'm gonna lose my mind. And for the custom kits, yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that custom kits would be an overall net positive for the game. I know there's a lot of absolutely broken sub and special combinations that would probably break the game, but honestly, I don't really care. I am willing to deal with Slosher with Burst Bomb if it means I can have Nautilus with Crab Tank. But also, because if you have custom kits at launch, then you don't have to worry about your favorite weapon being stuck with a garbage kit for like 2 years, and it would give the developers more time to work on other features. So yeah, while there are definitely a lot of problems with custom kits, I think the positives to adding custom kits would outweigh the negatives. We're So Back by Off the Hook is mid. I agree with this. So, something that I've noticed with Off the Hook is that the quality of their story mode songs, like an Octo Expansion and Side Order, are very consistent. They're very, very consistently above average, and a lot of them are in contention for the best Splatoon song of all time. But the quality of their Splatfest songs are ridiculously inconsistent. They can range from really good to decent to, oh my god, this is absolutely atrocious, turn this off immediately, this is giving me a headache, and I cannot stand listening to this song any longer. And I'd say We're So Back is in the decent level. It's not bad, but it's definitely the weakest of the main idol group Splatfest songs in Splatoon 3. Like, if I were to rank them, it would go Anarchy Rainbow at 1, Tomorrow's Nostalgia Today at 2, and We're So Back at 3.
Again, I wouldn't call it bad per se, I just think it's kind of boring, all things considered, and Off the Hook definitely has better songs.
10 Missiles should return in Splatoon 4 with a bigger kill radius and no cooldown. Just dodge them. Absolutely. And I think they should also bring back Ink Armor, since it was very good at dealing with missiles in Splatoon 2. What could possibly go wrong? Splatoon 2's endgame meta is more bearable than what Splatoon 3 has now.
Amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong.
I disagree, respectfully. That's, like, honestly insane. So you look at one of the most fun, fast-paced, and engaging metas in the entire Splatoon series, and you just go, no, I prefer staying in one spot and spamming specials all match. Like, seriously, I think Splatoon 2 quad shooter meta is the single worst metagame in the entire series. That should make the early Splatoon 3 crab take hell meta look fun by comparison. The only real reason I can think of as to why people like Endgame Splatoon 2's meta more than Splatoon 3's current meta is because they're lazy, or like the skill floor is lower. And like, I'm not gonna be the guy that's like, oh, well, if you don't like the current meta, then go play Cookie Run or something. But Splatoon in itself is a very fast-paced game, and it's really not meant to be played all slow and passive. That's part of the reason why so many people dislike Endgame Splatoon 2's meta, because it doesn't really feel like Splatoon, at least when compared to the Endgame metas of Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 3. Case in point, the grand finals of Splatoon 2 Area Cup number 69, which I keep bringing this match up, but it's really important in understanding all of the problems I have with Endgame Splatoon 2's meta. This is literally everything wrong with that metagame condensed into a single match. There is no fighting, everyone's just sitting on ledges, they're using their subs and specials more than their actual main weapon, they're just spamming specials, and it's all just shooters. There is no other weapon class being represented here. Not only was playing in this metagame extremely boring, but so was watching it. Now, compare that to what we have in Splatoon 3 right now, and this is from the grand finals of SendouQ Season 7. Already, you notice a massive difference compared to Splatoon 2's meta. There's a lot more fighting, people are playing more aggressively, it's a lot more fast-paced, there are multiple different weapon classes being represented here. It actually feels like Splatoon. So I don't understand how people can look at this and prefer this. Splatoon is at its best in these super fast-paced, fight-heavy scenarios. And while, yes, like I said, you could argue that Splatoon 3's meta has a higher skill floor than Splatoon 2's, and maybe that's why some people prefer Splatoon 2's, because the skill floor was a lot lower and it was easier to get into. However, I personally believe that spending more time practicing and trying to get better in order to better understand Splatoon 3's meta is a worthy sacrifice, because once you know the ins and outs of Splatoon's mechanics, then it becomes one of the best competitive games I have ever played.
But yeah, as always, those are just my thoughts. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!